What's up, High and Logical? It's 12:15 a.m., August 21st, 2022. Welcome to the first Late Night Thoughts number 1, the first of many. We will have plenty of these because I do stay up pretty late thinking about a lot of different stuff. For people who don't know me, I'm Gabe, your most grateful and faithful host. For people who are returning, thank you for coming back. I always appreciate you guys tuning in to everything that I talk about. So, to start off, I have been doing this for 3 years, almost 4. It has changed dramatically over plus that because we've had this idea for a long time. And I mean we's because this originally started with 4 people. We shunned out one of them because we're dicks, you know. Can't take regrets, but we did obviously have a reasoning for it, and this just because that we thought he wasn't open enough, I guess, to be on this. And, you know, later down the road, since it's just me now out of the 4 originals, that, you know, later is that it's like we definitely could have been a little bit more lenient about how he was thinking, why he was thinking, stuff like that. Originally, it was called High Conversations with High People, right? Stupid, I know. But High Conversations with High People, and then there'd be a big gong right at the end of the name as it's done. It's pretty much was the same exact thing that I'm doing now. Topics, fun things to think about, just kind of thinking outside the box with a mix of a bunch of other stuff. Let's see, what was it? Catter Days, where we have pictures of cats, fan mail, you know, stuff like that. And of course, down the road, right, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, what is the lasting message that we are really trying to perceive, right? I just thought that it's like, yeah, we could consistently do this and this would be really fun. But the thing is, for me, is that I want to be able to leave a lasting impact. I want to go out and make sure that when people know me, that they see me as whatever I'm really actually trying to perceive myself as, which is open, optimistic. I've been changing a lot of stuff, me personally, a lot of self-analyzing to realize what my own flaws and things that I need to work on. So, implementing that for my decision, I decided to rename it High and Logical because High Conversations with High People sounded really, really long and a big mouthful just to consistently say that over and over again. Now, considering that we did base it around the idea of weed, marijuana, whatever the heck you want to call it, it's a big thing now. A lot of people already know what the heck it is. You know, half of our country has it legalized, so on and so forth. But the thought of the decision of changing the name kind of came with it to the point to where it's like, is using marijuana a good message to send off to kids, people who might want to watch this or share this, stuff like that, right? And so I let go of that. Like, I took off my first 2 videos when I first started this just because it's like that was not the message and is still not the message that I'm trying to get across to people. The main message that I am trying to get across from people is to critically think outside the box, stop being so optimistic, well, actually be optimistic, stop being so hateful about other people's opinions just because they sit on the left side or the right side, or if they sit in the middle, or they're not even in wherever the heck they're sitting, right? I just want people to kind of look over that and think about everything else as anything else that could be a possibility of what we think is the right or wrong answer. Because there are many different ways that people think about things. There are many different opinions about how people feel about really hard topics, stuff that people don't really want to talk about because they know that it'll bring some inner fire that people just don't want to deal with. So implementing that with the name change is pretty much why I changed it from High Conversations with High People to High and Logical. Now, one of the people who were originally in this idea didn't kind of like that. He liked the name, but the message that I wanted to kind of get out, he didn't really like that, just because he didn't want this to be some whole spiritual thing. And I understand that, especially when it comes to like 3 people. Actually, we had like 5, to be honest, but one of them was kind of more of like an intro to a tech producer, but I moved on. He supports me because he knows I love him. But so after that, it kind of went to a point to where it literally just turned to me and Rethwell. And I was okay with that just because I wanted to make sure that I could continue on even if people didn't agree with what I was talking about, which even to this day, even in most of my videos that I'm still doing, is that I'm trying to make sure that I'm not just disagreeing with people just because that they didn't like the idea. So I've moved on from that. Rethwell is not involved anymore. He has a lot of life stuff going on right now, and I hope he knows that I support him in anything that he wants to do. I hope that his new baby is well, his family is going to be all well and all that stuff. So, and then it just turned to me. So 3 years, almost, probably almost 4, possibly, that I've been doing this for myself. And I've turned this channel into pretty much my own personality, because all these ways of thinking are actually how I am on the inside, because I want people to be open. I want people to be able to communicate. It's very contradicting for myself, because I am not always the best communicator. I'm not always the best at being open. I'm not always down to accept new ideas and possibilities if it makes me feel uncomfortable, which, you know, we got to break out of that comfort zone eventually. I've been trying to do some more harder topics, especially with my previous video of What is Love with Charlie. That was definitely something that is a little more harder to grasp, especially from a lot of different standpoints and a lot of different opinions, because it is a very, very hard subject to define what love really is, because love is whatever you make it to be. And so reflecting all of this to how I am, you know, has made me feel very clerical. It's made me feel really gratifying that no matter what, all of this stuff that I've done, no matter all these different changes and all this stuff, is because that I am trying to change this channel just as much as I'm trying to change myself, because change is important. Everybody needs to be able to grow past things and see it from new perspectives, but still keep the same idea. And that's exactly what I have done throughout all of these years, is pretty much just change it with the same feeling, the same percussions, and the same aspect that I've always been trying to get at, and which is literally critical thinking, higher learning, and so on and so forth. High and logical, higher thinking, logical learning. That's what I've defined it as, and that's what I'm going to set it as, because that is what I feel, is because being able to think higher than just yourself, but also thinking higher on yourself, is something that you can definitely broaden your aspects with, to be able to break outside of the box and break out of your comfort zone, to know that it is okay to be able to, that it's okay to change with new ideas, new ways, just because that survival of the fittest, human nature, we do have to evolve with our society, with our people, and with everything else. And the logical learning just comes with how much of people actually really want to think about it. Logically, not everybody can think logically, if that makes sense, because not everybody is prone to the same way of thinking. Not everybody is prone to being open to new ideas, so on and so forth. I've already talked about this. So yeah, that's pretty much where I've pretty much been at right now. A lot, and I said, it's been over the couple weeks anyway. I haven't said that, but it's been a lot of self-analysis and realizing my own flaws and realizing my own problems and how I should fix them for everybody else around me, for my grinds, for all my things that I want to do for myself. And I just hope that, I hope every day. I have faith in this entire thing. Otherwise, why would I keep doing it, right? I have faith that people will eventually kind of just lead to this whole thing that I'm just trying to perceive, where it's just what does it matter about what people think? Oh, my phone, leave me alone. What does it matter what people think? What does it matter what people look like? What does it matter what people do? It's not our life. We have to define our own sense before we can define other people's senses, right? Don't criticize, don't condemn, don't complain. Because what's the point of having to criticize other people when you can't even criticize yourself? If you're constantly condemning people, you're pretty much condemning yourself. And then complaining, that's not going to go away, because you feel like you want to complain about everything. And that's just an aspect of where I am right now, is that I'm just trying to be better. I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to let people actually tell me how they feel, and not having to think that I constantly need to relate, and except just understand. Because understanding is so important to at least just trying to get your point across, or at least understand other people's points that they are trying to make. Understanding is hard. Not everybody's going to understand it right away. Sometimes it takes a lot of validation and all this other shit that just isn't really necessary, because consistent validation is toxic. I have seen that over the past couple days, that constantly seeking the validation is not healthy. It is not worthy of your time to have to constantly think that you aren't or are not worth your own sense of time, your own sense of intention, your own sense of what you feel is right for you and other people, and so on and so forth. Be intent, be clear, be direct, and you should have no problem with being able to conquer whatever the heck you want to do. Communication is key, and I know that it is something that I definitely need to work on. It is something that I'm still working on to this day, and I'm happy about the progress that I've made. I'm happy about the progress that I've made about YouTube. I'm happy about the progress that I've made about other people, that have how I influence them and how they feel like they're influenced by me, and so on and so forth. It's just that I just want all of that. And I know that if I work hard, I'll get it, because having to work in favor requires you to have to take on a lot more substantial responsibilities. And that is something that people need to understand when they want more. Like, I do understand that if I keep going, I'm going to have to take all these higher responsibilities. I'm going to have to take all these bullshit crap from other people just because that they just don't see how I see. And that is okay. I am ready. I feel so confident right now about myself, about other people, about being able to make sure that I can be true and pure to people, just because that I do see myself as a piece of shit sometimes. But I mean, am I really going to let that define me? No. I'm going to get better. I'm going to do better, and I will succeed at doing all of that, just because I have faith in myself to move to a better direction and a better sense of thinking and a better sense of keeping my mind not winning, because this guy right here is the thing that's constantly pushing me down, because I'm too busy listening to this instead of listening to my heart and my gut. And the gut feeling, I'm not lying, is something that you definitely need to listen to. It is like your next sense of intuition is to go with your gut feeling. And I mean, not everybody can listen all the time. You know, you don't have to listen to me. You can do whatever you want. But the things that I've been realizing lately is that life has been hitting me in the face, and I've been slapping back. And I mean, literally, I'm about to like rock that guy's jaw down on the ground and literally just curb stomp him into the fucking street. That's how I am literally living right now, and I love it, because what can stop me except my own demise? What can stop you from anything but your own demise and your own way of thinking? That's all it really takes, is just to break past the fear, break past about how you actually feel about things, break past into other comfort zones that aren't actually comfortable for you, because what's life without being able to live, right? Pretty sure that's it. I'm pretty confident about everything that I've said. I am confident as heck, and I just hope that this sparks some confidence in you. You can do it. We can do it. To the moon, Alice. To the moon. We can do it. It just requires us to take the action. And that's all we're going to do. That's what we're going to continue to do. And that's what I want everybody to tell everybody, is just to do it. Just do it! As Shia LaBeouf says, just do it. Okay? That's it. I'm done. Late night number 1 on the board. So, without further ado, I hope you guys have a great night, morning, whenever you guys view this. It's, it's whenever. But I hope you guys have a great time of just being you. Just be you. Why be you when you can be new? That's a robot, and that doesn't make any sense. That's a robot quote, and that doesn't make any sense to this, but that's okay, just because I like that quote. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm just, got to be a little bit more forward about this. I'm tired of not feeling like I can't step into my way of being egotistical and channeling the inner balance of knowing humbleness and being egotistical, because you got to have a little bit of that ego to keep yourself going. Just saying, don't kill it, don't put it, don't shove it in a basement, but keep a little around. It might help. Love you guys. Have a great night, day, morning, whenever.